Okay, so here explains pretty much how do you develop grids. So you press the button and you go through the steps. You have offset options. You can rotate. You can copy them and place a number. I think these are quite straightforward. A good exercise is afterwards is to start measuring things again. So you go to annotate, align, and you can go in a series of dimensioning and make sure. Actually, I recommend that you do this already. You take annotations between the perimeters and between the different grid lines. And here you can come all the way there before. And you can continue now between these ones. And snap there. And also between these guys. And you bring them down. There we go. By the way, you can change these guys by just shifting that and create another one if you're missing one. There you go. You can even create them again between these elements. The normal procedure to measure is that you give yourself always the same distance between what you're measuring. Like from this line on, this distance should be very similar to, for example, if this is the property line, this distance. And also should be distance to the bubbles of your grid line, so everything is clear and understandable. For example, this one you could make it a little bit closer and then bring the bubbles a little bit further in. But if you change it there, you should change it here as well. Perfect. Okay. So dimension is you don't have to place the dimensions here. If you place them in the bottom, you don't have to duplicate. This one, because they're so distant to each other, it could be necessary to have them duplicated. So I think dimensioning is quite almost a necessary thing to do for all of you at this point. So there you can double check whether you're 1.6, 2410, etc. If all the dimensions are properly related to all these numbers that I'm giving you. Okay. Good. So you developed your grids. Now there's a very tricky thing is if I go to the second floor right now, you see how the levels and the grids, the grids are totally, they're not clean as the ones I have. These ones have bubbles here but not there. So how do I take the way I see it here, how I take it to other views? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say here. To ensure you have selected only what you need, use the filter button. So there's one magic button in Revit that allows you to filter. There's no layers. So how do I select the grid lines only? You don't want to go one by one, no? Huh? Tabbing. Well, but I want to select all of them. So, would this be by pressing Control one by one, the option, if I have 1,000? So you select everything. Mr. Filter comes along. And what you can do is filter out whatever you don't want to have, or say none, and say give me only the grids. So you can select only the grids from an overall selection. Okay. So this is actually a propagate extents that you're going to be using oftentimes. Okay. Propagate extents is this button here that allows you to see all the floor plans in the same way and in terms of grid visualization. Okay. So if I say propagate, it's going to tell me where do you want to see your levels the same way as you have them here. Well, in all the floor plans, no? Actually, I can even take it to the ceiling plans as well. Why not? And say okay. Feels like nothing happened, but if I go to the second floor, the grids are good looking now. Okay. So propagate, it's fundamental to somehow copy the visual characteristics of the grids of one view and place them in another one, okay? Another thing is that if I go to the elevations, this is a mess. And I'm going to be picky with, she loves, she knows, with how things are shown in your sheets. For example, we're going to have a building here later on and another one there. Well, these elevations should cross the entire set of grids and should be distanced from one side and the other one equally, like that. The grid should expand a little bit further down. We're going to have a basement plan nevertheless, so, and you should do that in both north and south, which are the same, and east and west. You see how this is totally different. So you select the circle there and you expand them so you make sure you're crossing all the grids, and again extending beyond the grids the same amount. Select the grids, taking them down. This. Okay, this is a proper elevation of levels and grids at this point. Okay, just a second. I'm gonna finish this. Very simple. I'm going to create the massing of the future building. This is obviously not the real facades that we're going to have, but these are very important for you to see, you know, the result of the future building is going to be there. So we're going to do first in the gym, which is this unit, a brick on CMU wall. So again, these are the steps of how you declare the wall configuration. Remember, it's always first you say wall, then you say what type of wall. You search for brick on CMU. Next, from where to where, level 1 to level 3. Next, finish face exterior is this, you know, the alignment. And then we're going to do an offset that I never talked about, but I'm going to introduce it now in a rectangle tool. So again, I'm going to go to level 1 because it goes from level 1 to level 3. I'm going to do a wall. It's going to be a brick on CMU. Rectangle tool, offset, I don't remember, so I go back 1 and 6, 1 spacebar 6. Now it's saying also grid line, so this is where you're drawing it from the top left to the bottom right of the first set of grids. So I'm going to go to the grids, not to the green line, rectangle, and draw this to this grid. Snap. What did I miss? From where to where it goes, no? I said the base is level 1, but I never check if it's going to level 3 or level 122. So I could actually do that now. I'm going to the 3D, selecting by pressing tab and selecting the chain and making sure that the top constraint is actually level 3. There we go. This is a good time to save. And back to first floor. And this time I'm going to try to do it properly. Next wall, which is this one in glass. ATRIUM is the unit. Wall, curtain wall 1. Level 1 to ATRIUM floor. We actually don't have ATRIUM floor, so we're going to use the level number 3 for now. And wall center line, offset of 1/6. Okay. Wall. We scroll down, we should have curtain wall 1 here. From where to where, we said first floor, and we're going to use third floor, okay? Rectangle 1/6, and wall center line, we cannot even change it, so that's going to be properly done. And grid line F to grid line 7, done. We go to the 3D, and this is what we have created. Okay, as you can see, it's slightly different from this. Doesn't matter. We're going to use level 3 instead of the roof of the gym. Okay, next and last, level 1. And we're going to use generic 8 inches wall from level 1 to top of parapet. This is the one we just created at the end. It's going to be finished face exterior and offset 1 feet 6 inches. Okay, so again, wall, generic 8. Okay, finished face exterior. Actually, you could revise whether this one was finished face exterior. We can change it afterwards. 1 6 from level 1 to top of parapet. Rectangle, snap to grid 9, grid 16 and 8. If we go to the 3D, this is the monster we have created. By the way, I have a couple lines here that I use as offsets, so you can just delete them. That green line, it was only helpful to work with. Later on, we're gonna just hide it or just get rid of it entirely. Okay. So now we can go to each floor and we see that the walls that are being cut are there. So in a way, we can envision how we can start organizing the different sheets. Okay. Now that's actually the next step, is organizing our sheets. We're going to use these sides. We're going to start placing the set of drawings in our sheet. For now, you can use the Autodesk Revit. Okay, so let's do that very fast. Right click on sheet, new sheet. We're going to load if you don't have it. Title block, this size. Okay, say OK. And this is, I think, the moment that you should go to the drawing list and start checking scales. Okay, so it says level 1 floor plan, level 4. What are the drawings I'm asking you from the drawing list? Okay, so I'm asking for you the basement. You don't have the basement yet, but you can declare and start creating all these set of drawings with no problem. A100 basement floor plan composite. Well, we don't have a basement, you can avoid that one, but you can actually create the first plan composite. So just go to the drawing list and create all the ones that you can make. Now 1/16, so let's go back to Revit, go back to the first floor and see the scale is 1/8. We change it to 1/16. We rename it because this is actually the composite. We want to duplicate that one. That's going to be the 1/8. Let's say with detailing. Rename. This is, for example, the gym. We're going to duplicate with detailing. Rename. It's not going to be the gym. This is going to be the ATRIUM. Okay, now all of those are actually 1/8. So let me change those. 1/8. 1/8. And duplicate for the last one with detailing. Right click. Rename. Laboratory. Okay, so again, we're going to have for each view, we're going to have 4 views. We're going to have 3 at scale 1/8 and one called composite is at scale 1/16. So right now in the sheet, we can drag directly the composite and it fits perfectly. Probably want to move the elevation marks, but if we want to duplicate the sheet, or just create a new sheet here, and we drag the ATRIUM one, it's huge. Okay, so we're going to need to crop the view. Remember how we did this? If this is the ATRIUM, we turn on the cropping view, we select it, and we start moving this in order to crop the view. You want to stand a little bit so you see everything. Okay. In a way, this is the element that you want to introduce into the sheet. Now, we'll see that these grids are actually 3D and 2D, but this is essentially the organization of your sheet. We'll see how we fix all these problems in a second. So each of them will have a zooming in at scale 1/8 to each of the units within the overall